Clifty Falls State Park, Madison, Indiana, just about an hour north of Louisville, along the banks of the Ohio River. Going to hit trail number 2, or work our way to trail number 2, which is listed as very rugged as it follows along Clifty Creek. When all's said and done, we'll do just over 4 miles. Louisville football went into Death Valley as a 10.5-point dog. Louisville football then saw its defense force 2 quick 3-and-outs. Louisville football had the lead at halftime. Most importantly, Louisville football pulled away for a 12-point victory, 33-21 at number 11 Clemson. There's a lot to like about this. What do you say we hike about it? Let's go. As we get started, first let me just chomp down on a Big Crow sandwich. I picked Louisville to lose in this game against Clemson, 38-31. Thought it was clever picking them to lose by a touchdown, seeing the trend in their 3 losses. But again, Crow has not tasted very good many times in the past, but it is absolutely delicious today. So if I would have told you on Friday night that Tyler Shuck would throw for less than 200 yards, Ja'Cory Brooks would have less than 100 yards receiving, that Clemson's offense would outgain Louisville's offense, Tyler Shuck, statistic-wise, probably had his poorest game of the season, completing just 53% of his passes. Ja'Cory Brooks, nowhere near 100 yards. But Louisville won by 12. I like that, and I like that a lot. Something that I absolutely loved, and I believe set the tone and allowed Louisville's victory to happen. The 2 first possessions by Clemson on offense, both 3-and-outs. That absolutely set a tone for a defense, for a program that defensively, it certainly had its struggles, and a lot of its struggles had to deal with communication and understanding expectations, alignments, yada yada yada. The coaching staff, Jeff Brom, Ron English, have been working to improve that. Boy, did it look like it worked against the 11th ranked Tigers, who again came into the game riding 6 straight wins. Again, not really the toughest of schedules, their ACC schedule. Louisville clearly the toughest team they have faced since they lost to Georgia in week 1. But they were averaging 45 points a game in their 5 ACC games coming in to Saturday night. They scored just 21, 14 of those coming in the 4th quarter as the game was becoming decided. That Louisville looked like it was going to be the victor. So the defense, after giving up a touchdown late in the 1st quarter, boom. They played exceptionally well. Hot start by the defense. Love that trend. Let's keep that up. And that was a fantastic start by the defense. Like that quite a bit. Something that I really dislike, something that's really not cool. I don't care which fan base it is. It's not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last. Throwing trash down on the field because you're upset at an official. Come on. Why? There is no why. And then, so you're throwing trash on your own home field where you're supposed to go after the game and come together as a family and enjoy each other's company. Why would you throw trash on your own floor that you're getting ready to gather on? That doesn't make any sense. The appropriate response to something like that Isaac Brown gave it the appropriate response. He's like, give me the ball. He gets the ball, he takes off. 45 yards later, he's in the end zone. Time to take a nap, go to sleep. Go to sleep. That's the appropriate response. Because his 45-yard run for a touchdown put the game to bed. It was over. Do better. When Louisville comes away with a 33-21 win in Death Valley, ending Clemson's 22 straight game winning streak on home night games, ending their 8-game conference win streak, ending an 8-game program losing streak to Clemson. Never had beaten the Tigers before. 0-4 in Clemson at Memorial Stadium. It's a lot. A win that has put them back into the AP top 25 at number 25, the Cardinals. It's hard to say that there's much to dislike, right? But let's refresh our memory a little bit. And let's start with the final score, 33-21. Clemson tried to get a couple late onside kicks. One was reviewed, and if you were like me, I was almost anticipating it being reversed and handed to Clemson, but a little surprised that it wasn't. But I digress. Louisville did recover both of those onside kicks, but if it weren't for a few things that are on the dislike list following that game, there wouldn't have been such a concern that Clemson might get one of those onside kicks. I mean, if they get the first one, you got an opportunity to score again, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point game. Something that I like is the offensive line, and we'll get to this in the report card, is a banged up group. They've suffered some injuries. Monroe Mills is playing hurt. I'm sure the rest of the guys are all banged up a bit. You've got guys unable to play. They've faced criticism in recent weeks. And they turn around and produce the performance that we saw, basically 5 guys giving everything they've got, banged up or not, and do the performance to where it allows over 200 yards rushing, no sacks. That's toughness. Something else that I liked is when the Louisville football official site on X tweeted out part of what Jeff Brom told his team after the game in the locker room. Basically, the message was, you earned this. Here's a bit of that.
Be prouder of this football team or these coaches. You guys just kept trying to improve every week. We had some mistakes along the way. You come out here against a really good team in a great environment, and you showed a great play now. All right, that's a tremendous win. Tremendous win, and you guys earned it. You guys did. You played to the very end. You made play after play. You kept fighting. You kept coming back. We hung in there all the way till the game was over, and you got the win. All right, and that's huge. And that's huge. So that's 6 wins right there now.
Yeah! Like that a lot. This team, there's been a lot of talk about needing to improve things on the inside. Clearly, when you get on the road and you do that, things are improving. And thus, things are improving on the field. Here's something that I like. Let's rewind the clock to the first half, to the first 20 so minutes of Louisville's trip to Boston College. They were down 20-0. Kind of let it off my last hiking video with this, that include myself amongst the group that was starting to wonder, starting to doubt, was curious if the team was starting to, okay, we've got our 3 losses, season's over type of attitude. Clearly they turned around, 4th largest comeback in school history. They follow that up by going into Death Valley and winning by 12 over the 11th ranked team in the country, being the Clemson Tigers. That is some serious momentum being built for your program. I like that a lot. 3 losses or not, Cardinals are now bowl eligible. 6-3 overall. So there's a few likes, a couple dislikes. We say we turn our attention to the report card and start dishing out some grades. It's going to be pretty good. I just have some kind of feeling. Let's get to that report card. Let's start with the quarterbacks. And as mentioned previously, not the greatest game statistically for Tyler Shuck, probably statistically his worst game. But when you're the quarterback for a team going into Death Valley and pulling out a W, not a bad game. He goes 17 of 32, 152 yards, no throwing touchdowns. He does get his first rushing touchdown of his Louisville career, and in a flip fashion. It was pretty impressive. Does a little dance afterwards. Big touchdown for the Cardinals. No interceptions either. Connected with 7 different receivers. Steady, calm, as he has continued to be all throughout the season. For the performance against number 11 Clemson, Tyler Shuck / the quarterbacks for Louisville getting an A. Running backs continues to be the Isaac Brown show, and listening to the Clemson head coach and coaching staff and defense before this game, they often talked about Isaac Brown. They knew exactly what they were going to face in Louisville's speedy, elusive, true freshman running back. And still, what's he do? He gets 20 carries, 151 yards, gets a touchdown, averages 7.55 yards per carry. Coincidentally, he's now for the season averaging 7.55 yards per carry. That's top 10 in the country. Number 7, I believe it is. Isaac Brown just continues to get it done. This is coming off a week where he was the ACC Rookie of the Week for a second time. More accolades probably coming his way, you think? Also got Kewan Brown sighting. Came in, got a 1-yard run, touchdown run. Duke Watson, a big 31-yard catch. Let's toss in Tyler Shucks. We'll call him a running back for that one game, for that one play. But no, seriously, overall, again, highlighted by Isaac Brown. And because they knew what was coming and you still did it to them for your 4th 100-yard game of the season, A+ for the Louisville running backs. Wide receivers. Ja'Cory Brooks held under 100 yards. Ja'Cory Brooks held under 50 yards and had 4 catches for 42 yards. Chris Bell, 3 for, I believe, 35 yards. Also got to toss in his 47-yard run. Huge, huge play. Amari Huggins Bruce had 1 catch. He also had 1 costly drop that, if he would have caught it, easy first down and the drive would have been extended. But at the end of the day, no harm, no foul on that one. The wide receivers. Ja'Cory Brooks for the attention that you consistently drew. We're going to give the wide receivers an A as well. Tight ends. Would like to have seen them get a few more opportunities, but Mark Redmond did end up with 4 catches for 36 yards. Effective when they need him. I think this might have been a game where the addition of an athletic Jamari Johnson could have been a benefit to the Louisville's offense as well. But overall, the tight ends, A- against the performance against Clemson. Here's a good spot to sit down and discuss the offensive line. Let's do that. So the offensive line did not allow any sacks. It's well documented that the offensive line is dealing with injuries. It's a pretty banged up group. Thus, they all basically played every single snap, all 61 offensive snaps. They all pretty much played. Pete Niger, one of the top graded offensive players for the game. All of them graded out pretty decently. Again, no sacks, only 3 tackles for a loss against the Tigers. Tyler Shuck had more time than I expected that he would have to work in the backfield. Helped the Louisville offensive ground game go over 200 yards. That's a good day for the offensive line. I mentioned in my last report card following Boston College, I thought they took a step forward and saw it as a positive. That forward progress took another huge step against Clemson. A+. for the Louisville offensive line. Defensive line. Clemson's running game did get some yards to a degree, not enough to where it dictated what Louisville needed to do defensively. So Louisville did a fantastic job forcing that type of game from Clemson. The defensive front, kind of a bend not break mentality for a while, but while they did not rack up a bunch of numbers as far as sacks go, there was consistent pressure on Cade Klubnik, the Clemson quarterback. Frequent, consistent pressure. Those might mean the same thing, but consistently was happening frequently. That's what you want to see when you have consistency. And the defensive line did that against Clemson. Really upped their game. One of the best performances of the season against one of the better offenses of the season coming in. Defensive line gets themselves an A. I'm stepping on all kinds of rocks here, and they're not bending and they're not breaking. Kind of reminds me of the Louisville linebackers against Clemson. How about that? There were 102 offensive snaps from Clemson. Antonio Watts played 93. Stanquan Clark played 87. TJ Quinn played 85. Stanquan Clark led the Cardinals with 13 tackles, 9 solo. TJ Quinn had 8, including a blocked field goal. Pretty solid outing for the linebackers, if I do say. Possibly their best outing of the year. It's certainly up there. It'd be hard to argue against it. Linebackers, for your performance at Clemson, helping the Cardinals to that big victory in Death Valley, you get an A. Nothing beyond that point. I'm not going. Kind of like Louisville's defense, don't you think, against Clemson? Let's talk about the defensive backs. When we're talking about the PFF grades for the performance against Louisville or against Clemson, it's highlighted by defensive backs. We're talking Tayon Holloway, Corey Thornton, D'Angelo Hutchinson. Hutchinson making the PFF's All-ACC team following Week 10 for his play against the Tigers. And it wasn't there. It didn't end there. Quincy Riley had a good game. MJ Griffin, solid. Nicholson, solid. Really good performance by the defensive backs. They've also taken a number of shots, and rightfully so. They've been burned a few times throughout the 2024 season. But against Clemson, those big opportunities for the Tigers never surfaced. For their performance at number 11 Clemson, helping the Cardinals get the win in Death Valley, defensive backs, A+. Coming out of here is going to take a nice little steep climb, but we knew that. It kind of reminds me now of the trajectory that Louisville football program is going straight up. Not straight up, but a pretty nice upward trajectory. Cardinals off before they take Stanford. But before we get to that, let's talk a little special teams. It started with a missed field goal from 40 yards by Brock Travelstead. He responds. He gets sent out 4 more times by Jeff Brom. And each one of those 4 other times, all crucial. Good, 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 as long of 49 yards. Also, converting extra points. Good game for Brock Travelstead. I'll forget all about the missed one. What missed field goal? Stats say he's 4 or 5. I could have swore he's 4 or 4. That's what it felt like to me. We're talking about special teams. 2 big blocked field goals. D'Angelo Hutchinson, TJ Quinn. Big time plays. Absolutely crushing any type of momentum that Clemson was trying to build. Special teams. What missed field goal? A. Coaching staff. It's time to hand out the coaching staff grade. It improved week over week last week. I think it's pretty clear it improved significantly week over week following the play at Clemson. One of the consistent themes for Louisville this year, unfortunately, has been still needing to fix ourselves. Didn't come out of the gate as great as we thought we were, essentially. Communication problems, aptitude, questions, to use Ron English's terminology, injuries, facing some really good offenses. But there was the continual theme of we need to fix ourselves, especially on the defensive side of the ball. 3. Maybe the performance, especially defensively at Clemson, is a sign that the Louisville defense has crossed that bridge and now are reaching to where they expect it to be. The offense came out and shot itself in the foot a couple times, and it's the defense is dropping those 3 and outs, and you're just kind of like, Clemson's going to get theirs eventually. They didn't get too much, as it turned out. And the offense finally gained a rhythm, but that's still a consistent thing that we're seeing from the offense. And I understand facing injuries and very good opponents and yada, yada, yada. But you need to clean those up. Let's come out of the gate more clean, more fresh, more on point. Let's not stop drives that look like they're going to end in the end zone, or at least a travel-stead field goal. But the improvement since midway through the second quarter at Boston College, kind of the wake-up, has been significant. It's been impressive. The coaching staff for the performance of the team. And kudos to Jeff Brom. You earned it, he told the players. So did the coaching staff. A for Jeff Brom and his staff for a huge road win. First ever win at Clemson. You know what? Let's tick it up a notch. A+. Big win for the Cardinals. Hey there. Up next for Louisville is a bye week. The Cardinals have the coming weekend off, which is great timing. They can get some guys rested, get some of those scrapes, those bruises, those bumps, get a little healed. See if they can get some more guys on the field, get a little closer to 100% to tune up for that last final stretch. After their bye week, Cardinals heading out west to California, because it's the all-coast conference, right? To play Stanford, a game Louisville certainly should be a big favorite and certainly should win. So you got 3 games coming up. The ESPN FBI has Louisville as a 70% or better chance of winning all 3 of those games. It's above 90% for Stanford. So get healed up, go out, dominate the game against Stanford, continue to build momentum, come home, close out your home schedule, and close out the ACC schedule with a win over Pittsburgh, and then go take care of things in Lexington. Still 3 games where you can continue to improve, continue to show that you're the team, that you're going to finish like the team that you expected to be right out of the gate. A lot of momentum going in Louisville's favor. Hey, thanks again for going hiking with Michael McCammon as we discussed and dished out grades for Louisville's 33-20 win at number 11 Clemson. Again, the Cardinals, doesn't get old repeating it, first ever win against Clemson, snapping the Tigers' 22 game winning streak for night home games, ending that amongst other accomplishments. The biggest accomplishment, though, was that win, which again puts Louisville bowl eligibility. So a lot of season still to play for. Won't be dishing out a report card following the bye week. I think the Cardinals can handle that one. But maybe doing a hike because we've got a couple basketball games coming up. That's right, it's crossover season. But we will continue to dish out report cards following each Louisville football game throughout the 2024 season. Thanks again for going hiking with Michael McCammon. It's time to go.